So we all enjoy watching the shows at SeaWorld. They're fun, they're glamorous, and they're really entertaining. But what goes on behind the scenes at SeaWorld is not so glamorous. According to an interview with one of the former SeaWorld trainers, she said that they typically work about 19 hours a day. 2 to 3 of those hours are during performances and shows, and the rest is training outside of performances. To put that in a little bit of perspective, that's basically like working half of a 40-hour week in a day. And they do this 7 days a week, basically all year round. In order to get these animals to train so often, they will typically cut their baseline food, and they calculate this baseline food based off of their weight. And that's just the general amount of food that they need to survive during a day. And they will often cut this, and this is commonly referred to as working weight. This was confirmed by another former trainer at SeaWorld in an interview with the Dolphin Project. He said that they often do call this working weight, and it's basically code to cut their food in order to give them incentive to work. So they're not only working these really long hours during the day, they're often doing it food deprived. And all of these things typically cause a lot of stress in the animals. You can see signs of stress by grinding of their teeth, and also collapsed dorsal fin, which was in an article in Psychology Today. As you can see here, this orca, he's got these broken and grinded down teeth in the front of his mouth, and then these healthy teeth back here. They do this by swimming along the edge of their cages or their pools, and they will grind their teeth as they swim by, and that causes all of these worn down teeth. And they'll break their teeth by chewing on the gates, the steel gates that separate the different pools. And then the collapsed dorsal fin that you can see here is typically caused by circling the pools, which is very similar to like pacing back and forth that you would see in maybe like a captive tiger or lion or something, where they pace the perimeter of their cage. They just circle them since they're in pools. And another really big sign of stress is actually aggression in these animals. While they're very intelligent and smart creatures, they can't really process emotions. So they deal with their emotions by acting out in aggression. And this can potentially be very dangerous for trainers. In this video here, you can see one of the trainers is actually being dragged to the bottom of the pool by his whale that he's training. This is a fairly common occurrence. This was also confirmed by another former trainer at SeaWorld in an interview by National Geographic. But many trainers experience very similar things to this, where they're being dragged around the pools, to the bottom of the pools by their whales. And SeaWorld will knowingly put these non-aggressive whales back in performances, back into spaces that are really close with the trainers, often putting them in danger. And one of the famous whales that is known to be aggressive is Tilikum. He actually killed 3 people at SeaWorld, and after each death, he still continued to do performances and shows. And SeaWorld didn't really let the trainers know what was going on. They just kind of swept it under the rug and continued to let trainers be in close proximity to him, putting their lives in danger, essentially. In conclusion, I would really just urge you not to visit SeaWorld. They don't take very good care of their animals, and it puts a lot of stress on them, which causes them to become aggressive and puts these trainers in very dangerous situations, especially since these animals are so big. It can become very dangerous very quickly for these trainers. In the end, it's just really unethical, and I would urge you not to go and not to support and spend your money at SeaWorld to promote these practices in treatment of these animals, since they are so blatantly being abused.